What's up, guys? As promised, I told you I was going to do a reaction to Silver Joker and Silver 5150's debate on whether or not $1,000 silver is feasible. You know what I mean? So this video is long. It's 24 minutes and 17 seconds. So let's get right on into it. So I'm probably going to be skipping some parts, maybe. Depends on what they're saying and what's going on. But yeah, so let's see what they got to say, and I'll be jumping in.
But I'm here with my good friend 5150, and what we're gonna do today is we had a little bit of a conversation over the phone, and I think what we talked about deserves to be aired out on the air.
I agree.
Let's get ready to rumble!
I know we have differing opinions on where silver is going as far as price-wise in the future.
I like that little animation. Let's get ready to rumble. Look at that silver, guys. You see those boxes of silver? Man, these guys are big time, man. Both of them. They got different kinds. Silver Joker loves constitutional, and Silver 5150, he loves everything. He likes fractionals, but you mainly see him with the premium stuff. I mean, my God, look at that.
But come on, $1,000 an ounce. That's what I've been hearing on just about every other channel on YouTube. They're talking about silver going to $100 an ounce, $150 an ounce, $1,000 an ounce. What do you think?
That's right. That's right. And you know what? I'm going to tell you something. You are probably the most conservative person when it comes to expectations for silver. You love silver more than anyone, but you have the most reasonable expectations for silver's performance. And so I say reasonable. You think $25 is reasonable, $50 is reasonable, but the idea of getting, say, 50 or above to you in this current environment probably doesn't sound very doable in the near future. But I will tell you this. We've been doing it wrong. You talk about $1,000 silver. I talk about $1,000 silver. You don't, but I talk about $1,000 silver. And here's the deal. We will likely see a scenario where silver stackers will experience the $1,000 silver effect, but not actual $1,000 silver.
Whoa. Okay, sorry. I'm gonna stop pausing just to look at the silver porn. My God, you see all that freaking silver on there? Silver 5150. That's Silver 5150, by the way. All that silver. When I first started stacking, he was talking about how much ounces he had and stuff. This was back in 2020. He said he had 16,000 ounces of silver. And as you can see, guys, he now this was back then. I know he sold off a little bit, but I'm sure he bought more. But he's got the premium stuff. You know what I mean? He's got all kind of things. But you know, when they're talking about $1,000 ounce silver, silver 5150, I hope he's saying, you know, adjusted for inflation, not in today's $1,000 price. You know, like whatever $1,000 can buy today. You know what I mean? If it goes to $1,000, you know, in the future, let's say 2-3 years, then what's that $1,000 going to buy you? Can it buy you the same things that it can buy you now? I don't think so. But let's see what he says, and I hope they bring that up.
What do you think I mean by that?
Well, I'm not sure what you mean by that, but just hearing you say that we could reach $1,000 an ounce, you know, I want to be nice, but I'm going to have to respectfully disagree with all of that.
Right. Okay, so let's just be clear about something. Silver wants to climb to these nosebleed levels, but you got to understand that every regulatory agency, government, central bank, and clearinghouse has it in for silver. They don't want silver to show any brilliance. They don't want it to draw the attention of regular people, especially if it has a chance to be used as a medium of exchange or money, and God forbid, the monetary preference over everything else, because then it becomes way beyond $1,000 or way too valuable to be money because everybody will want it for that reason. But the $1,000 effect that I'm talking about is the idea that you'll likely see a chance where you'll be able to trade a silver eagle for a laptop or a set of tires rather than being able to go and change it in for $1,000 or seeing it as $1,000 on the indexes. That's what I'm seeing. And it's only because of the inflationary environment we're in. I think we have pretty high inflation right now.
Interesting. So he did bring it up. He did bring up what silver can buy. And 1 ounce of silver for a laptop. I don't know if he's just saying that to use it as an example or really believes that. I don't know, but did you see that silver? Anyways, Okay, so before I comment on that, I don't agree with that. I don't think you're going to be able to buy a laptop with 1 ounce of silver. I just don't. But let's hear his argument out. I want to hear what he has to say because I'm a conservative person too when it comes to silver. I use it as more of a. I think it'll go up in value, obviously, and I do look at it as an investment. But I mostly probably 75% of the reason I buy it, 50 to 75% is because it holds my purchasing power. You know what I mean? And the other 25 to 50% it is as an investment. It'll go up because it's used in so many different things. It's a utility metal more than gold.
Well, I'm going to have to disagree with that just a little bit. Listen, I see what you're saying. I do. But my whole idea is this. I think that the most that we'll see in the very near future, and I'd say, let's say in the next 3 to 5 years, we could talk about beyond 5 years here in a minute, but at next, 3 to 5 years, I don't see silver going too much above $25 an ounce.
Okay.
Maybe 20. So we might reach that, but definitely not this year. Probably not next year. Maybe I'll talk about maybe in the third year or whatever, maybe. But I'm going to tell you why I feel that way. So right now, Jerome Powell, the Fed, they just raised interest rates another, quarter point.
Right.
Right? They just raised interest, and you know why they do that.
I do. They're trying to slow down, I guess, inflation or money velocity or something.
Absolutely. They are trying to slow down people's spending.
I agree with that. They're trying to stop the first part or the second part. They're trying to stop demand. They're trying to slow down people's spending. Absolutely. And they're trying to stop the money velocity, meaning they don't want the money supply to be out there because they printed out so much money. But they're not trying to stop inflation. They can't stop inflation. Two reasons. Well, two reasons why they're not trying to stop inflation. Number one is they lie about the CPI numbers. Okay? They lie about inflation. So it's not 6 point something. It's like 18, 19, 20%. We all know that. Look at everything that's gone up. That's the first thing. Second thing is, if they're really trying to lower inflation, then just raise the interest rates up to or higher than the real inflation numbers. Even with the fake inflation numbers they're giving us, 6.5 or whatever, the interest rates are not even close to that. Just raise it up to that like Paul Volcker did. So they're not trying to stop inflation. Let's stop that right there. So I don't believe that for 1 second.
People borrow money, they spend money. So if they make it a little harder for people to borrow money, then there'll be less money out there for people to spend. So they want the economy to slow down just a little bit so the economy can catch up. That's my personal understanding of it. So they don't want, and this is probably going to get me in a little bit of trouble, but they don't want wages to increase right now.
Right.
Wage increases means more money. Now, I'm not saying I agree with that. Please don't send me dirty letters or anything like that. I don't agree with that. I want to make as much money as I possibly can on my job. I want as many raises as I can get. But that does not help the economy according to the Fed. Okay, so this is how I see it. All right, the economy is inflation is starting to slow. Now, I'm not as optimistic as some people and say that it's actually starting to trend downward, although I believe that maybe it is. But I'm not going to make that claim right now. But I think the economy is getting better. Just like if you listen to the news today, Jerome Powell said that maybe one more, because the economy is trending in the inflation is trending in the right direction. So maybe another, maybe one, possibly two more rate hikes are necessary in order for really to push it going in the right direction. And so I think that if anything was going to happen with silver, especially over these last 3 years,
right,
definitely through 2021, 2020, 2022, if silver was going to do anything, because silver is supposed to be a safe haven asset, which it is.
Correct.
Right? The value comes from us. The price comes from the market. Right? And so if silver was going to do anything spectacular, it would have done it over the past 2 years, I believe. And so since it hasn't happened and things are starting to look a little better economy-wise, I think that silver is not going to reach too much above the $20, $25 mark.
So far, so good, Silver Joker. I don't agree with the inflation part, but he pretty much hit it on the head. I mean, guys, listen, if the market wasn't manipulated, silver would be going up. We know that. But the thing is, with inflation being so high and it being so tough on the economy, it's all about supply and demand with silver, right? So if people are selling their silver because they can't afford to pay their bills or stuff like that, which they should be able to sell their silver. That's what it's for. I'm talking about old heads, people that have been in the game for a long time. I talked to a lot of private sellers. I've talked to coin shops and everything, and they're all saying the same thing. There's a lot of silver on the shelves right now because people can't afford it right now. They can't afford basic living. So they're selling their silver. So if inflation is supposed to be going up higher, which it is going to be going up higher, because again, they don't care about inflation. They're going to do one or two more rate hikes, like Silver Joker said, and then guess what they're going to do? They're going to pause, then they're going to raise, and then they're going to start printing money. And what's that going to do? That's going to raise inflation. We already know that.
Okay,
now I know. I know you got a lot to say.
So many directions to go here. This is great because one of the first things I'm hearing you say, and you're saying that the idea of money velocity or slowing down inflation is a economic singularity. What I mean by that is that if the Fed acts to slow down inflation, it's going to slow down people's desire to purchase, and so people will purchase less. But when you say it like that, it makes it sound as if it's just the private sector out there doing everyday spending. But the problem is money velocity doesn't really care who's doing the spending, because guess what? Spending is a family going out to Applebee's for dinner, and spending is also a company hiring more people. Okay? Follow me on this. Mm-hmm. If a company slows down its spending, trust me, salaries are going to be in that, future salaries especially. I'm not talking about layoffs. I'm just talking about not hiring new people. If you don't hire new people, then how do we overcome this supply shortage, this logistical shortage, if we can't produce more with more people? See, you can't have it both ways. If you want to slow down inflation, if you want to slow down money velocity, and if you want to cool the economy off, according to the Fed, then you're going to have to let the dollar do its thing, and it's going to show people they can cut from all directions. It's not going to be just private spending. Now, the second thing I'll say is about silver and the value of the dollar is that in order for silver to stay where it is, or like to say, silver only trades sideways to down, you would have to assume that there's never going to be any more currency printing taking place beyond now. So the $31 trillion in debt we have is going to stay where it is. The amount of M2 money supply is going to stay where it is. The Fed's not going to print anymore. The governments aren't going to sell treasuries to do that. So there's not going to be any more currency. And so silver will stay at that level because silver is valued in those currencies. Doesn't matter what country it is. Well, I don't think governments can do it. I don't think governments can curb it, because that's the thing. In order for silver to stay where it's going to stay, governments have to either stop spending or cut spending to bring down the need for currency to put in the system to do it.
Okay, philosophically, I agree with what he said. He's right. But the markets are manipulated. I'll give you an example. When 2020 hit, what did silver do? Silver, went down in March. It went down to like 11, 12 bucks. And then after that, in the summer, when I started stacking, it was up in the mid 20s, 24 and stuff. And that's when it really started hitting the 20s, right? Well, it got up to 29 and 30 and stuff like that. It got up, but then it crashed back down. But here's the thing, guys. We did so much. We have never printed this much money in U.S. history, in world history. We printed trillions and trillions of dollars. So why is it that we printed all this cash, we did all these things, and silver's still this price? So I hear what he's saying. The fundamentals are, he's absolutely right. The problem is silver is manipulated. So it's not, he's talking like this stuff already didn't happen already. It's already had trillions and trillions of dollars of money printing. So silver 5150, when you're talking about that and you're saying those things already happened. So they're going to happen again. Of course, they're going to print more money and stuff. And, the M2's going up and the debt's, how much did the debt go up from 2020 till now? You know what I mean? I think the debt was like 27 or 26 or something, 26, 27 trillion. And now it's 31 and a half. So all these things have already happened.
Okay, that's assuming that what you just said is how people see it. Because right now, if you think about it, silver's in demand, but what is happening to the price of silver? It hasn't really moved that much. And demand is high, right? Demand is high. Moved. And the reason why it hasn't moved that much is because people are still relying on fiat dollars because the economy is at such a place to where people still believe that things are working. Now, you trust me, there are lots of people out there that don't think it is. But there's enough people out there that think it is to where they're not flocking to these safe haven assets like they have been in the past or like they even should be.